Hello, I'm Pamela Aaralyn. How are you guys? For those of you who don't know me, you can find me at aurareader.com. I just want to do a quick sound check, paying attention to you guys in chat to see if you can hear me right now. Give me a thumbs up. Can you hear me? Do I need to speak up or move closer to the camera? You can hear me? Okay, awesome. It's lovely to see you guys. So, here's my story behind channeling. I've been doing this all of my life since I was 5 years old. I've been seeing a lot of different beings and a lot of different lovely, wonderful beings and deities and angelic presences. And Yeshua in particular has been one of my favorites that comes in. I actually did not have any experience, about two times that I've had Mary Magdalene come in prior to finally connecting to her at the request of someone that I met in a forum and at the request of all of you lovely people in my group, which you can find me, by the way, on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/aura reader. But yeah, everything I do stems from energy and auras. That's the first thing that I could actually do and see in my life from age 5. And then everything from then just kind of flooded me. But yeah, I didn't have much experience with Mary. You guys wanted to hear from her. It was Steve Pitt actually who gave me the thumbs up and said, well, why don't you try that? And I said, well, I'll see, but I'm not sure if she'll come. And so I gave it a shot, and then I got incredibly sick. As you guys know, I got incredibly physically ill with whooping cough. It was a little bizarre when all of that happened, and I went through this really big spiritual transformation and transition, and everything about my life as I know it changed from the moment I invited her into it. And are you guys having volume problems still? Because I think that my volume is turned up as loud as it will go. I'll turn myself up a little bit more. Hopefully that will be better. Okay. A little muffled. Yeah, I don't really know exactly how to fix that. Some people are saying it's clear. Some people are saying it sounds muffled. But anyway, from the moment I started requesting for her to come to me and asking, she came right away, which I was really shocked. I thought that it would be more difficult since she's never decided personally to come to me. And then from that time, it just got extremely interesting. And my entire life started to kind of change. And she's been with me quite significantly since then. So, yeah. My moderator in the group, by the way, I noticed you guys are asking on the chat about, how to submit your questions. Go ahead and submit them. I'm not going to be trying to focus so much on questions as we did during the Yeshua channeling because it really confused me, and it caused me to just sort of lose focus on what I was doing with channeling, just focusing too much on chat and focusing a little bit too much on questions and all the technical stuff. So my moderator is going to do that, and his name is Jim. You can see him up in the producer area. So if you would like a camera request, it's him that you would want to send a little message to or let him know in chat, okay? If you turn your volume down, it may be less muffled. Would you like me to turn it down? Okay, I will try to turn it down. Is that better? Don't worry about your questions. You're going to post them, and Jim's going to weed through them and put them up one at a time. Even though you don't see them, they are there. It's just that I get confused when I look up from channeling and see a bunch of questions on my screen and then start thinking, oh no, there's too much or too many, and I don't want to get distracted. So he's handling that, so you won't see them, but he will. You want me to turn the volume back up? Okay. How's that? Is that better? Is that less muffled? Turn it back up. Okay, how's that? Talking, testing, testing. Are we good? We good right there? Everybody thumbs up? All right, awesome. Okay, I'm going to stop focusing on chat as much at this time because, and I minimize it so I can't even see it because she's been here for about 30 minutes and she's put me in an extremely meditative place. I feel like I'm going to fall asleep. So I'm going to go ahead and ask her to channel a message for you. So no questions to me at this time during the message. When it's over, we're going to be doing a combination of pre-channeled questions that you guys asked in advance on the event page and on my Facebook group. You guys were asking a bunch of questions. And I went ahead and asked her during these past 3 days, and I wrote down all of her answers. So we're going to be discussing those and then taking a live question and then going back to answering a pre-channeled question from her and then taking other live questions. So I'll let you know when I'm switching back and forth in that manner so that you'll know what's live and what's not. So we're going to go ahead and the way that I work, I don't fully trans-channel. I'm not fully comfortable doing that live just yet because a lot of different times I never know when the being's going to choose to leave my body. Therefore, I'll only partially channel. I listen as a medium and I just repeat back exactly what I'm hearing and what I'm being told. There are a few times when she has stepped in, so if that happens, then that happens. I'm not going to try to stop that either. Because I would trust her very much. But either way, right now, I'm going to let her talk, and I'm just going to repeat back exactly everything that she's saying to you. I hope that you really enjoy it. Let's begin. My brothers and sisters of God within, I see that many of you do not understand what's happening in your tumultuous world in this moment. As love increases and the vibrational remembrance of God comes closer into the wellspring of your souls, as you each welcome the safe vibration of oneness back into your memories, a momentum is picking up. The momentum is a wave, and it's spreading across your world. Some of you may feel this as a spiritual awakening of kind, as sensations in your body, as love, fear, or even suffering in your emotions, as it is unknown to you. But I say to you, this is divine love pouring forward. Heaven and earth are finally coming together in your consciousness. There has never been separateness, except in the illusion that you choose when becoming embodied on earth. This illusion is breaking in these moments in each of your hearts and minds. It is your hearts that will lead you forward in union with your minds, and this will lead you forward as one. In the center of your minds and of your hearts is the God center that is within you. It is a reflection of divinity in all there is. When you come together now, I say to you that your purpose for being here is the journey to the remembrance of your own divinity. Love is what helps you remember this divinity. Love is all you were ever meant to do here. And within this purpose, there are all other purposes specific to each of you that cannot be understood without love. You are a reflection of God on earth, and you're here to share that with others. And so I must say to you that there are some of you that are in despair. Some of you looking outside of yourself to find completion in love. When you seek for completion and love from others, someone with whom you can hide from yourself, so that you cannot choose to look at the portions of you that require your own love and forgiveness. I say to you, when you look in that way, you will repeat time and time again until you learn that you are already whole. Look deep within your heart. I've wrapped you in my arms while you've explored all of these components of yourself. In the past century, you've been covering and uncovering these emotional stones within, fearful of what is underneath. What is done is done. When will you forgive yourselves and stop the relentless journey of tearful suffering in this search of what is wrong? You are not wrong. You are love. You are perfect. You are divinity. Divinity is you. We have seen all components of you. I have combed every strand of your beautiful hair with the combed fingers of my love. I know your skin and every cell within you. I study you the way a mother studies her newborn child. I study your every cry for love, food, your cries when suffering, your cries when excited or joyful. I've cushioned the bones in your knees with my own hands. When you pray for hours on the hardened floor. But now is the time to give your suffering to me, for it is no longer needed, and you must trust that I am here now. As is Yeshua, as is source above and source within. There is nothing you must hide anymore. Please give me your shame. Release those who will then attempt to further shame you. Give me your shame, and I will toss it amongst the vastness of the stars, where it will become beautiful examples of all you have overcome. You are pure and perfect in your thoughts that seem to trap you in darkness. Give them to me to show you that light is indeed here. I will turn over your thoughts one by one until you see the truth of the light of love on the other side of them. I'm still listening. As you bring your frightening thoughts forward, you will then see that the light is everywhere. And you will say to me, upon this dark night of the soul, where are you? You have forgotten me. Just as I truly did say those same words that dark day to my own father. That was only my illusion. Only we had withdrawn our remembrance that we had chosen the journey and that we are loved. As soon as we remembered, the light was there once again. Just as we took that dark path to the light, we took the pain and we transformed it into love that always is. We call you to do the same. Yeshua and myself wrap you in our love, whether you remember or not. Whatever name you call this love that is wrapped around you, it is still pure divine love that is all. And within that, the sacred teachers that have journeyed before you and I are also there. And when you look deep within your soul, remember you are always in divinity. There is never separation. Look within and find the love and connect the divinity through you. Bring that remembrance through you, through meditation and study, through prayers and stillness, through light and love, through sound, through music, through all sacred frequencies, through every element available to you on earth that your soul values as sacred to you. This life is for you to look within yourself and remember that you are whole, that you are complete, that you are love. You do not have to draw anyone else into that space in order to feel complete, although it is quite fine if you should choose this. Simply being on earth in this space of divine love and being at peace with love, being in sacred sexuality with love, all of these things amplify around the earth and are your gift to the world. From that space, you will know what to do next. We're moving from the revolution that is occurring from within you to the next step of your expansion, which will involve no more suffering, but learning in the methods of peace, love, and light. No matter what is in front of you in this moment in your relationships, remember this. How you treat others is how you believe God treats you. How you treat others is how they view God and how you view God. Love them as Source loves you. You may still be a clear reflection of all that is around you without opening the floodgates to suffering and old wounds. I say to you that there is no more. Please accept this gift I give to you now. Suffering is not required. My blessings I leave with you, and I give to you always, like blessings of rain from the sky in a land full of drought. You're thirsty. Drink. Your belief has caused the drought. Quench your spirits with the floods of my love. You are the divine light of God within you. There is nothing else but love within you. Belief has been shackles on your feet, holding you to your past. Release yourself. The past is over. Nothing can be learned from it any further if it pains you. Nothing that you do not already know can further exist to be learned, because love is now. Believe only in love. Thank you. Okay. And there she goes with that. I hope that you guys could hear all of that. She's pretty amazing to have right here, and she's messing with my lighting. Some of it kind of was going off and on, and kind of like I can't get it to go back on now, so maybe she'll do something to make it turn back on. That would be really good. Oh, thank you. Lighting just randomly turned back on. It's motion lighting, so I should have really reconsidered that, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know it was a long intro. So we have a question on air, since she's still standing here. And she's really, really incredibly bright, by the way. So I'm going to move my stage lighting a little backwards because her lighting is also incredibly bright. And this question is from Chris. It says, Mary, if there were only one thing you could tell the world about Jesus, what would it be? What would people want to know? She says, your only purpose is to be, not to do. Humans, from the dawn of what you call time, continue to say, what is there to do? What do I do next? What's next? What do I do? Just be. Sources within. When you walk in the space of stillness, of peace within, everything in your specific purpose that you're meant to do will occur naturally. Okay. All right. That was that question. I'm going to be altering back and forth between some questions that I pre-channeled starting Monday until today, the questions that you guys have written for me, those of you who can't be here. So I'm going to go to them now and answer one of them. The question is, Mary, are you a repentant prostitute as shown in the Bible? What she said and what I wrote down is this. She said, the Bible does not have a repentant prostitute within, the Bible does have a repentant prostitute within its teachings. I am the Mary who entered the scene after her, but I am not her in your Bible. There are many Marys in your Bible. I am but one. It makes for interesting, controversial stories and lore, but it is a poorly inaccurate description of my history. So there was that. Let's go to the next one. This is from Marissa, and it says, I have round, red, symmetrical markings in the center of my palms and soles of my feet. Is this an expression of Christ consciousness, or possibly a representation of Mary Magdalene? What's the significance of these markings? She says it represents a physical expression and a physical manifestation of something within you and a fear of wanting to be seen. A fear of wanting to be seen has manifested itself into this specific condition. Address the fear, then release the fear. While I do quite personally connect with you, Marissa, that is not my specific expression. That is a reflection of fears of other people seeing you for who you are, and then your fears of abandonment thereafter. Okay, let's go back to a pre-channel question. This one is, Mary Magdalene, what are your origins? Our answer to that was the town of Magdala, near the Sea of Galilee. Prior to there, I was on planet Pleiades. The full name of my town is Magdala Terrifia. This translates into your language as the Tower of Salted Fish. Okay. Wondering if Mary could, this is from Cam, okay. And she says, I'm wondering if Mary can tell us about her relationship with Jesus, how they met, what kind of conflicts did they have and work through, if any. Any wisdom she can show on building and maintaining relationships would be appreciated. Okay. She said, my relationship to him is that of a mentor and a confidant and eventually a husband. His disciples met me prior. I met him through them. I met him specifically through Luke. But and this is within the time that you know. However, we've known each other for as long as time has existed. Not just in that specific lifetime. On building relationships, build one with divinity within you, build one with God within you, invoke the I am within yourself first. All relationships that come thereafter will definitely be much more peaceful if you do this, if you invoke the I am within you first. Okay, back to a pre-channeled question. Mary, what did it mean when Luke claimed you had 7 demons cast out of you? Her response to that, when I channeled that one last week, is as follows. She said, I had 7 parts of my being open after my enlightenment. The exorcism, as your society has called it, was not for such a reason. It was for the purpose of enlightenment so that I may know all 7 facets of myself in order to become whole. Yes. Okay. Wondering if Mary could tell us, and this is from Kim, and she said, I'm wondering if Mary could tell us about her relationship with Jesus. Oh, no, that's the same one I just did. So we'll go back to another pre-channel question since I don't have another question up that's live just yet that Jem has selected for me. Okay, this one, was asked of me last week to pre-channel to Mary, and it says, did you retire to a cave after Christ's death? And this is what she said. She said, that is a beautiful story, and it is your lore. I do not wish to claim it as a non-truth, as there is some truth to it. Yeshua did not die in a typical sense. He died and then came back to life fully in his restored body. He was fully alive for many years after his resurrection and his return to life in his restored body. He touched the lives of thousands of people. We lived happily together thereafter. Many told the interesting story that I had retreated to a cave for fasting, and it is true. However, it was not for a 30-year time frame, as per your story, but it was for 7 years, while Yeshua traveled to study and to reach his own full enlightenment. Then we returned together. Yes, we married. We had children. We lived a rather happy but unusual life for that specific time period. Okay. Going back to a live channel question with Mary. This is from Melissa. Okay. What is the purpose of marriage? She said it is of your own definition. On your paper, in your records, it can be beautiful and sanctified and sacred. It can be also absolutely unnecessary if done with the wrong intent. The purpose of marriage is all based upon your intent behind wanting to be married and be unified? Unified to begin with. All right. Let's go back to a pre-channel question. The question is, what is Gnosticism? I loved your answer to that, by the way. And this was pre-channel this week. So I'm going to read to you what she wrote. She said, it is a teaching of love, harmony, communion, and divinity. It means knowledge, but not mere intellectual understanding. Like a flash of lightning arising out of nowhere in the dark, this understanding produces a brilliant, bright, lucid awareness or realization of the pure energy and energy of divinity as it flows within oneself. The answer to all of life's mysteries can only be found when one opens one's heart to the current of the divine within them and becomes fully transformed and illuminated by it. This energy in my time was perceived as the divine feminine or as the Holy Spirit. Gnosticism, for its time, was sacred, beautiful, and revolutionary, unlike the fixed, restrictive rules and confines of Christianity. Gnosticism is also open to all beings. Okay, let's go to a question from Lindsay that we have here up on the screen. And she asked, what are my connections to Mother Mary? My mother had several failed pregnancies before becoming pregnant with me. During the pregnancy, she nearly lost me, and she began praying to Mother Mary every day to keep me safe, and now I feel a connection with her. Mary states, this was your mother's specific knowledge and means of invoking the I Am within herself. And as she invoked me, there is no other way to not invoke the I Am. There are no such elements within the I Am. Therefore, all was healed, all was safe, all was love. And yes, I did thereby connect very specifically to you from that point in your existence, even to this very day. I love you. Okay, let's go to another pre-channel question. She really loves you guys. She keeps showing so much love. Okay, the question that is pre-channeled from last week, again, I pre-channeled a lot of these questions for those of you who are just entering, and some of these I'm just writing down for the people who can't be here and reading what I wrote when I channeled just these questions just a few days ago. And this one is, what do you believe of the God of the Bible? That's the question. Thought you might find this interesting. She said, I believe that the wrathful God of the Old Testament was a false God, certainly. Any fully enlightened deity could not contain these base emotions of anger, jealousy, and wrath within himself. The real God, which I call Source, is a loving deity who is equally and directly accessible to all. Transformation and illumination of the self, which is what you call ego, is the strongest and most pertinent path in my time, at that time, and in yours now. Sorry for my coughing. Still getting over that whooping cough 6 weeks later. Okay. Angel asks, let's see. Angel states, I have always felt profoundly connected to you, Mary. Can you tell me more about that? You saw me as a child at age 6 in a dream. And then you saw me again at age 11 in a dream. At those times, you believed I was Mother Mary. I am Mary Magdalene. And I've been with you since then. I'm easy to connect with all beings if they come in love. Everything that you've done in your lifetime indicates that you show up in every space of being in love. Therefore, it was easy and quite pleasant. Thank you for inviting me within. All right. Let's go to another pre-channeled question that you guys wrote down on my Facebook page, and I'm going to write to you what she channeled to me at the time. Okay, this question is, what was your life purpose in your time? And what she said to me when I channeled this one is as follows. She said, to show you how to recognize your own divine nature, to open your sleeping eyes to an entirely awakened perspective, to teach you that you no longer need the intercession of anyone between you and Source. Source is within you and has been all along. I recognize that this feels like a deep mystery to unravel, but it is not. You're separated from Source because you choose to be, for your own means of learning how to find your connection with Source once more. I wish to connect you with your spiritual inheritance, and that is my path. I also represented, at my time, the struggle of perceived separation in the psyche. The reflections of this in my life were my struggles with the church, in the attempts to suppress knowledge that comes from the divine feminine. I also choose to accompany many human women in your current time to awaken them to their sacred, divine feminine nature, which comes through them in the form of revelation, insight, and contemplation. I choose to represent the significance of the communions. All of these I represented, all of these were my purposes in my time and now. Okay, let's go back to a live question from Iris. And she says, Pamela, I was told I have a very specific message to my people. Can you ask what is that? Let's start there first. These are 2 questions. We'll start with one. Your message implies, depicts, and embodies the full nature of the Divine Feminine. Your purpose is nothing but showing this. Shine this light of the Divine Feminine. That is your purpose. That is my connection with you. Thank you. Okay. She's so easy to channel. I had no idea. I feel like Yeshua's energy blew me away, but so much that I was unable to focus as much as I am now. She is so calm. I just wanted to take a moment to express how her energy feels to me and her appearance to me in between your questions. I could not find, when I was creating this event, many people were asking me, why do you have this picture in your Facebook events of Mother Mary when you're going to be channeling Mary Magdalene? And I said, well, I just couldn't quite find an image that expressed to me what she physically looks like when she comes, as well as an image that embodied her full presence and state of being of love and peace and femininity and strength. She is actually really strong and quite brilliant, but really simple in the way that she's wording things. But she has darker hair, much like mine, except more red. There's a lot more red. She does not have lighter skin. It's significantly darker than mine. And she says she shows up how people view her and connect to her and what images that they see her as, but this is just how I'm seeing her as she's standing here today. And she told me she would try not to mess with my lighting again unintentionally. But she is really, really loving it. It just feels like someone is just hugging me and holding me and nurturing me and snuggling me the entire time that I've been channeling her now, and that's how it has felt. I've only been in my attempts, I started my attempts to channel her about maybe 2 weeks ago, and she came right in, no problem. I was like, wow, I'm so shocked and happy, and I feel like so incredibly loved and thankful and blessed that she did. But yeah, she does wear a robe, but it looks of the times. It's not white, it's not linen, it's, I don't even know how to describe it. I've not seen anything like it. There's some red, there's some burgundies, she has a burgundy belt that appears to be like a ribbon type cloth that's holding it all together, but doesn't have on any shoes. That's what I'm noticing right now. And mainly she just sits there in silence and smiles and is very loving. So there's that. I'm going to go to another pre-channel question. Okay, what do we have here? Someone asked me, one of you guys asked me this, what is the most beautiful thing, you asked me to ask her this, what is the most beautiful thing Yeshua has ever said to you? I thought it was an interesting question. And what she said to me, I'm just reading what I wrote down when she channeled this to me last week. He said, Mary, thou blessed one, whom I will perfect in all mysteries, of those of height, discourse, and openness thou, whose heart is raised to the kingdom of heaven more than all thy brethren. And she said that the reason why it was so beautiful to her is because she had doubted her ability to teach and to not to follow his teachings, but to spread his teachings and to teach his teachings. And she had so much controversy within the disciples, particularly Peter. And they were always really questioning her, and she felt so much like she was under the heat of their questions perpetually. And when Jesus finally said that in front of them, it just lifted something within her. It lifted her spirit very much. It's beautiful. And that was the beginning of a lovely relationship between the two of them after she had said this. So I'm going to go back to your live questions now. Okay, this is from Jennifer, and she asked, could Mary Magdalene tell me what my life purposes are in this lifetime? You bring in a purpose of mediation, opening others' eyes to discernment within peace. You did not choose the easiest of purposes. I'm with you. Thank you. All right. Let's go to another pre-channel question. What did you guys ask me? All right, this is a good one. What spiritual text can you share with us that most clearly describes truth as you know it? And she answered very clearly. She said, let's see if I can pronounce this stuff. If I hack it, I'm sorry. She said, the Pistis Sophia, and it's spelled Pistis, Pistis Sophia, the Gospel of Philip, the Gospel of Mary, the Nag Hammadi in general, the teachings and writings of the Essenes. However, rather love and hold close to my being, I rather love and hold close to my being the Pistis Sophia. It is a Coptic, Gnostic, revolutionary text composed in Egypt, probably around the middle of the 2nd century. It contains the secret teachings of Yeshua that were taught to our closely knit spiritual circle in the 11 years following his resurrection. And it was taught to the many tribes of seers at the time. There were 141. This text reveals the connections between this emerging form of spiritual teachings, paganism, and beliefs and rituals found in the ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead. And these teachings were created for the apostles who went forth to spread Yeshua's message. Yeah, I found that she can be just exceedingly clear. I love this about her. So let's go forward to your next channel question. I don't have one yet, so let's do another pre-channel question. All right. Oh, I do have one. It just didn't come up. This is from Catherine, and it says, Mary, can you explain your perspective on mental illness? She smiled like this, and she's nodding, and she's like, she really relates. She said, I was perceived as mentally ill, hence the Roman Catholic Church intent to perceive me as one who was possessed by entities. Mental illness is clearly misunderstood because it is an illness to begin with. It can become an illness as the manifestations of your awakening turn into fear. These manifestations of spiritual awakenings can indeed turn into fear. That fear induces the illness. At that point, it becomes an illness. Prior to then, it is not and has never meant to be. Please don't treat yourself with such shame and indignation. Don't fall into the hands of judgment of those around you. Even if you fully in your belief system comprehend yourself as being ill, if this is the case, invite Source within, reconnect with Source that is within, ask Source for healing, invite Source to heal you, and believe that it can be done. Thank you. All right, let's go to another pre-channel question. Let's see which one of you asked me this on my forum. All right. How do you view Yeshua? She said he is the compassionate one. I'll go to another pre-channel question since that was so short. Were you Yeshua's favorite apostle? She said he did not wish to have one personal favorite. I simply understood his teachings and had the capacity to comprehend them more clearly than others. All right. Let's see. We have a live question now from Paisley. And she asks, Mary, did you live in France with Yeshua? She says yes. She says France was peaceful at first and beautiful and accepted our teachings. And then things became incredibly tumultuous and revolutionary. Many things occurred, many difficult times. But yes, we did. That was the point in time when I retreated from my personal enlightenment stage, where I was alone for 7 years, and we, at that point, then went to France. Okay. Thank you. Oh, it was frozen. I'm reading the chat. Is Princess Diana in your bloodline? Related to your bloodline? She said many of you are related to my bloodline. It doesn't take a princess to be related to my bloodline, but yes, she is, as are many of you here today. All right, that was really clear. Okay, let's go back to another pre-channel question. And it is from, let's see what we have here. The question is, did you bring awareness of the feminine movement, particularly in southern France? That's interesting. That was the very next question on my list, right after we just discussed that a second ago. She said, I did bring awareness of Yeshua's spiritual movement in southern France, and this peaceful awareness of the divine feminine is alive in France today. A surge of spiritual awareness and respectful feminine values began upon the awareness of Yeshua's spiritual teachings to this region. His teaching wove itself into the very fabric of southern France's spiritual landscape. Okay, let's go back to a live question. Yeah, a lot of France questions, Marissa, exactly. I'm not seeing your chat until I go back to the live questions, and then I minimize the screen to get to my pre-channel questions that I did in advance for you. Paisley is asking, will you please ask her if the coast of California, northern and southern, will be affected by the planetary alignment next Thursday, the 28th? She said, focus your alignment instead with peace, not with fear. There will be many things that affect your planet. This is not one. This is not one of them. All right. Let's go back to a pre-channel question. The question is, was alchemy a big part of yours and Yeshua's teachings? And she answered, yes. Yeshua's teachings were passed down to the alchemist in southern France. These teachings come from ancient Egypt. Since that was quick, I'll answer another pre-channel question that I wrote down from her in advance. Okay, Yvonne asks, how can I deal with my verbally abusive mother? She said, kindly consider respectfully removing yourself from her being and presence for the time. It could be for a time. It could be permanent. The best way to handle non-loving situations is to remove yourself from them. And then you can love them from behind the boundary of Source and the love of Source within you. Yeah, that was good. Let's go back to another live question. This one is from Chris. And she's asking, Mary, I often have felt that I have lived during Yeshua and your time, and that I knew you both, which is why I felt what was taught about you in church wasn't true. Is this accurate? Okay. Absolutely not. No. She's saying no. Mm-mm. She said that is the purpose. Indeed, that is the entire purpose of my teachings. They come straight from Yeshua. They come from the Essenes. They come from what Source has taught many of us in our lineage all along, in your time and mine. However, when the church took over, they wished to put many of us in a negative light, hence they eliminated a lot of our teachings from your Bible. A lot of those teachings are either missing or simply labeled heresy or apocryphal. And yes, that's what you were taught about me and Yeshua and many in our time and prior to our time. None of that was truth. Well, not none, but more than half of that was not true, especially teachings about me and especially teachings about Yeshua. Yeshua is not the Christ that your church teaches and that your Bible teaches. He is not a Christ that focuses on sin or judgment. He is a being of love and forgiveness and mercy. He is a being of liberation and has the purpose of liberation, not salvation. Many of these teachings aren't true. Okay, thank you. Let's go back to a pre-channel question. I admit sometimes she makes me a little sleepy, drowsy, tired, peaceful. I gotta sleep a little bit, but I'm trucking along. We're good. This channel question asks, where was the Gospel of Mary found originally? And this is what she said to me that I wrote down for you earlier. She said a German scholar located it within a niche in a wall in the town of Aachen. And I can't spell that because I heard it, I'm sorry, but it is pronounced Aachen. She said it was carefully hidden by a monk. Yeah. I would imagine that during all the revolutionary times that were going on, that being that the Gnostic texts, according to what she's been teaching me these past 2 weeks, were then considered heresy, I'm not sure what the families would do except to hide them or, burn them or whatever, and a lot of them didn't want to burn them because they actually believed them, so they hid them in hopes to come back to them later, and then, of course, if they didn't, then the gospel could have easily been found in a niche in a wall. Let's go back to a live question. Oh, okay. Let's see. Yeah, Jim, that question was already answered. Okay. Okay. Mary Magdalene, did you have any children with Jesus? This question is live here from Marissa in chat. And if so, how many children? She said, I had 7 children, two of whom, oh, they were lost. Okay. She said 2 of whom passed in pregnancy, a miscarriage. And then she had 5 living children prior to that. So yes. All right. Let's go back to a pre-channel question. I'm just looking for one here that I had written down from my Facebook group, making sure I answer your questions live, and pre-channel questions for people that can't be here, just for those of you guys who wonder what I'm doing. I'm alternating between live questions and questions that I channeled to Mary prior to this recast for people that have written them down on the page. So there you go. All right. Anna, I want to make sure I pronounce that right. Anna F. Yeah, she asked me to ask Mary if my guardian angel Azrael is my guardian angel. Is Azrael my guardian angel because of the life purpose I come here for? Because it makes sense after you told me my life's purpose. And also, if that is why I feel a connection with Jesus, because my life purpose is similar to him in some parts. Okay. Her response to you, Anna, was this, and I've written this down for you. She answered this for me yesterday for you, and she said, you will have more than one guardian guide in your lifetime. This one is here to assist your soul in the understanding of basic principles of beginnings and endings, being that there are none. This is not about death. Death, birth, life, it's all the same. Yes, your life purpose is similar to that of Yeshua. All right. Let's go to another live question. If someone, okay, this is from Kim, and it said, if someone attacks you, is that always a reflection how we might be attacking ourselves? Or does an attack sometimes occur only for us to send love to the other and nothing more? She said, first, please release your suffering. You don't have to expand in this matter any further. Yes, we do that first. That is stage 1 of enlightenment. When you gain a belief system that you have completed stage 1 by facing these fears that cause your suffering, then you can release them. You can release them to Source. Fear is the opposite. It holds you exactly where you are. It holds you in stagnation. If someone harms you, it could be about them. It depends upon the stage of your enlightenment. If you're operating within the confines of opposing dualities, then yes. Yes, it's a reflection. At that stage, it's meant to show you to indeed stop hurting yourself, don't attack you. If you've gotten out of that stage of enlightenment, then it's just someone who needs your blessing, who needs the blessing of God within them and of God within you. Shine the light of Source back to them. Okay, let's go back to a pre-channel question. All right. The question is, tell me about the Gospel of Mary. That's a good one. She said, these lights are getting so bright between her light and my lights in my office. Getting a little warm. I'm going to turn some off. See, now I look shadowy. Oh well. Okay. She said, Yeshua encouraged his disciples to spread his teaching throughout the world. They were covered in fear by the suggestion. My purpose and journey was to make certain that they release fear in this endeavor. I did not write these teachings. I had long passed from earth. The gospel was written by a woman. Yeah, that was short, so I'm going to go to another pre-channel question because I feel like it's important for you guys to know some of these answers that she and I discussed, particularly the ones this week. Someone asked what was the role of women in the Gospel of Mary. And she said, I can't stand this light between Mary's, and I love Mary's light, but this stage lighting is getting hot. She's backing up. That's hilarious. Thank you. I'm just going to find a way to turn off my lights on my desk somehow before we continue. Of course, I know how to do these things at any other time. Now, I don't know how. So I'm going to move them away. Move back. Okay. The answer to what was the role of women in the Gospel of Mary, she said, and she had a lot to say about this, she said women played many roles in the writing, sharing, and teaching of the Gospel of Mary. And in these times, many spiritual communities were arising. And the spiritual communities at that time met in houses, not churches. As the home was considered the primary domain of women in these times, there were many women around who were involved in my teachings. There were women prophets at this time within the Christian communities and within the Gnostic communities. In the 2nd and 3rd centuries, however, these differences were already emerging between groups led by men and groups led by women. The tension between Peter and myself represents the tension between women and men in the Christian religion at the time. The church in the 4th and 5th centuries wanted to limit religious doctrine to that of the Bible. This is when the Nag Hammadi and all of its texts disappeared. This is where the invention of the story of me as a prostitute comes into existence. The Roman Church created it as they could not deny my existence in and around Yeshua's teachings, but they chose to show me in a darker light, so that women would continue to be seen as lesser than in relation to Christianity. My existence was used by contrast in biblical scriptures to Mother Mary, Eve, and others, so that I would be seen as a woman who should repent for her sins. This image of me was also used to make sex seem sinful as opposed to honoring sacred sexuality. I do not discuss the story of how I was depicted as a prostitute very often, as this story has many lessons to teach your society in many, many ways, even though it is not truth. It should be a reminder to seek your own truth within you, and to not allow the light of your divinity to be repressed under any circumstances or conditions, especially not in any way that could cause you to repress the divine feminine within you. Yeah, I thought you guys would really enjoy that question. It's very explanatory. Okay, so Cody is asking me a live question now to ask to Mary. Oh, and Cody, I want to let you know we're channeling Mary Magdalene. She's a very specific and different presence than Mother Mary. They're quite different. I'm not sure if you're aware of that because you were calling her Mother Mary, but this is Mary Magdalene, which was the one that was mentioned in the Bible as Jesus' companion. My sister is in the hospital right now, undergoing a procedure that will help her to become a mother. Will you send love and healing to her as she is in recovery? She says, The light of love within you, in your presence there around her, and even when you could not be around her while you were waiting, the light of love within you helped thoroughly. She will be a mother. She has always been a mother. She always will be a mother. And this time and in many times prior, I place her in the hands of Source within her. And we ask that she within her mind and heart provides the permission of the I Am for the healing and recovery. And it is done. Thank you. She turned my light off. All the fun things with light. Yeah, just leave it off this time. It's totally okay. I was sweating between you and these lights. Let's go back to a pre-channel question. Did you guys see her turn the light off? The whole light went dimmer. Like, it better go sleep anyway. That's good. Okay. Okay. Pre-channel question on my Facebook page. Sherry S. asked, I'm wanting to know if our life's purpose is amplified by location. For example, when Jesus wasn't truly accepted by his community but traveled, did other disciples experience that with him, including Mary? If so, how do you know where the right place is for yourself? That's a really good question. And when I channeled that question to her just yesterday, her response is as follows. She said, your life purpose does indeed cause you to consider and ponder your location. Yes, all of Yeshua's disciples were not accepted in their community initially. And upon traveling, they became accepted in smaller communities that were spread out. So it wasn't accepted by most of the male disciples even. Yet the right place for my purpose was exactly there amongst them. That is the lesson there. If you believe you are not in the right place for your purpose, chances are that you are exactly where you should be. Your path will meander as the path of the ocean pours into the great lakes of your world, and then into the paths of rivers, tributaries, streams, and then of creeks. Paths will change only once you accept them as they are. Okay, let's go back to another... Yes, okay. Live question time. She's good with that. All right, Beck. Beck is asking, the last few days I've been feeling so blank and unable to focus on anything. I gave into the feeling after some struggle the other day. The overall feeling I have is one of being rewritten, rebirth. From your higher perspective, can you perceive any further detail on this for me, and do you have any advice? I feel strange and stranger because I barely know why. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and kindness today. Okay. Just listening. She said, my sister, you don't need, it's not a requirement to know why. You operate from your thinking self. When you ask that question persistently, you operate from the thinking self. When you ask why from the heart, when you ask why from the source within you, the true answer comes. Of course you're rewritten. You're rewritten every time you're born, but only in your own choice. You choose how and when you're rewritten. Yes, it feels strange. Earth is a strange place. No, you're not accustomed to the strangeness of this place. Seek within. Ask why from within, if you must know, but there is no why. This is all of our purpose. This is our entire presence of being and trusting. The candle that you light, the hope and the faith that you have for source within you will keep you strong. You have the grace of divinity, the love of divinity, the peace of divinity within you. There is no seeking outside of that. When you stop seeking, these answers will be there as a pure divine knowingness. There is nothing more. I love you. Thank you. Okay. Back to a pre-channel question. Okay, Diana Marshall asks on my Facebook group, what is her message for me? I have been unable to remember. And her response was as follows. She said, that is the dilemma of humanity. May you be blessed in remembering your own divinity and the illumination of source within you. Remember, this is all that you do and feel. Just remember. Not from your head, not from your brain, but from the illumination of source within. Release action. Just be. You will remember. Okay. Back to a live channel question from Iris. And she says, how did you feel when your beloved was away traveling and learning? Was it hard to be without him? She said, oh yes. She's nodding. She said, the light of the hope and the faith within me in those times, even when I would sit in the stillness and darkness around me, and nothing but the sounds of water and earth and the light from the sun and the moon. Yes, but you must understand at this point in time, Yeshua had fallen into an omnipresent space and kept my heart lifted. There is no fear within that. There is no grief within that. There is no loss within that. As His presence is within me, my presence is within Him, as was in this time. Thank you. Let's go back to a pre-channel question. Angela asks, what is Mary trying to tell me? What is it that I need to do? Notice her answer to a lot of these questions are very similar. What she said to you was nothing. Be, feel, exist, love, remember. Remember the light of source within you. There is nothing to do. Everything that you want to do outside of that is perfectly acceptable. Don't judge your doingness. Don't judge your actions. What actions come are what actions will come. And they will come from your space of being. And you will know that they are true. Okay. Let's go back to a live question. This is from Marissa. Marissa asks, was there a particular past life that most influenced your life as Mary Magdalene? I don't understand time in the way that you understand time. There is no past. And I was greatly influenced by a lifetime where I completely understood and was under the tutelage of many beings that were first in existence on the planet, on your planet. I don't have one particular lifetime that influenced anything. It's all the same. It all feels the same. All of my lives are of utmost importance, even now. Okay. Yeah, don't be embarrassed about that, Cody. That's all good. She was honored by it. She loves Mother Mary. We had that discussion already. She adores her. Okay. Well, she and I had the discussion already. So I'm going to go back to your pre-channeled question that one of you had asked before the show. And it's from Leslie Sue. And she wrote on the question, do you have any special messages for me? Oh, wait a minute. That's not the one. We already answered that. Or did we? Oh, no, we didn't. Mary's going, no, you didn't. All right. I was just told. I'm totally good with that. Okay, for Leslie Sue, her advice is as follows. She wrote, she told me and I wrote just yesterday, do not allow the light of your divine feminine to be stamped out. Reconnect to you. You have done everything for everyone. Sacrifice, especially self-sacrifice, is not a word that should belong in your vocabulary any further if you should choose to release it. This is your time. I love you, and I'd be further blessed if you love you the way I love you. Okay, let's go back to a live channel question. This is from Sarah. Dear Mary Magdalene, I am finding myself in a place where I feel very lost and alone. I desire hope and direction. My question to you is, can you please shine light upon my life purpose and gift? My love and gratitude to you, Pamela, for this beautiful transmission. It means so much to us all. She likes you, Sarah. She said, my child, you were my child then, you are my child now. You're my Sarah then, you're my Sarah now. I don't abandon you then, I don't abandon you now. I love you then as I love you now. Accept me. Yeah, thank you, Mary. She's claiming you as her own Sarah. That was particularly important for you to know. She does have a child named Sarah. She's being very specific. She's mentioned Sarah to me before, just so you know. Yeah, my kids are playing there in the backyard, and my office is actually right there. And I have two massive windows by the backyard. And they're jumping on the trampoline and giggling. They're out there with their daddy. Okay. Let's go to a pre-channel question again. Oh boy. I loved answering this question because I love Peter's questions. This is from Peter. And he asked me to ask Mary, can you tell me about the Essenes and how the teachings are relevant to us now? And here's what I've written down. It's massive. I apologize in advance for the length, but she and I had a massive discussion about this. because I too was curious, have been for a while. I too am learning. And yeah, I'll just write to you what she said to me just last night about this. She said, the beautiful teachings of the Essenes are perpetuated through an immense space of ages. They are a race in and of themselves, and they're quite remarkable. The oldest of the Essenes initiates received their divine teachings from what you know as Central Asia. There is constant and unalterable divinity in these teachings. The origins of the Essenes come from the founder, Enoch, who represents the 7th generation of humanity. There was then a remanifestation of the Essenes by Moses. These beautiful souls have incarnated time and time again, and still do so today, through many around you who you do know, who will not identify themselves as such. This is not the nature of a true Essene, to identify in this time and era as an Essene, but they are there. They are there amongst you. Many of the stories of Enoch descended from the Essenes and Kabbalah text and have their roots in Egypt. The Essenes taught of purity and polarity, the polarity of light versus darkness. The goal of the Brotherhood of Essenes was to find ways to retain and preserve the sacred knowledge to the wisest of Egypt. Many students from around your world traveled to Egypt to study under the Essenes. The Essenes were wise healers and followers of light, and were even mentioned in your Bible as the chosen ones. The Essenes received much of their esoteric teachings from Moses. The Essenes referred to themselves in their original time on earth as, forgive me if I mispronounce what she said, Asanya, which means sons of the sun. These teachings carry the seeds of reconciliation, understanding, clarity, and peace for your fragmented world, as these teachings reveal simple universal truth, which embodies Yeshua's purpose of liberation of humanity. The Essenes understand God as a life-giving, intangible essence within each person. The symbol of Atan, God, is a life disk from which emerging beings are radiating downward into the human hand. And it was not worshipped. Rather, this power was understood as the divinity that produced and sustained the energy of the sun. Atan was not found in brutal battles or horrific, wrathful violence, but in the flowing beauty and grace of flowers and trees, and in all forms of nurturing life and growth. And this divinity was the creating and nourishing heat of the sun that gives life to all that exists. Atan depicted the presence of the divine within all matter, specifically in human form. God, or Atan, as was called, was conceived as a formless being that acted through the sun. He was transcendent and immanent. The omnipresence and benevolent God was considered the loving father, mother of all creation. There was no mention of hatred, wrath, violence, hell, judgment of God. Atan was known as the Lord of Love. He created a very advanced society of beings who settled closely together in a communal way of life within nature, wherein all society members were equal. And some of the Essenes lived in larger cities in various structures that served as hospitality inns and hospices. Mary, mother of Jesus, was brought to one of these inns to give birth. Much of their time was devoted to the study of ancient texts, the healing arts, and then there were those who traveled to share this information. For many centuries, they maintained a vast library and a school of learning. John the Baptist was educated at Mount Carmel, one of the major, biggest schools of learning. And the Essenes believed humankind was made of three aspects: body, mind, and emotions. The goal of each individual was the evolution within himself, but also that of the planet and the universe as a whole. The mind was seen as the inner manifestation, the creator of thoughts and emotions, which then the body then responded and acted upon. Thought was therefore considered to be the highest, most powerful force in the universe, as it instigated both feeling and thereby action. They trained themselves to harness this power in a positive way, as they believed each thought affected the entire planet through the vibrations they sent that affected the entire collective unconscious. Their task was to comfort and relieve the sleeping souls, awaken drowsy souls, and to welcome and guide the awakened souls of the world. Yeshua and I were both instructed and initiated by the Essenes. Yeah, really, really long answer. I'm looking at camera requests right now, and I don't know why I'm getting them. I don't know what's going on, so I'm going to see what's going on. See if anyone has a message for me, if Jim's here. Oh, we have Stephanie on air. All right. Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
Hi, can you hear me?
I'm turning you up right now. It's very, very low.
Let me go closer.
That's better.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. How are you?
Okay. So yeah.
Oh, I hope you come back. There you go. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
My
my
question
question was about the divine feminine,
and
and
if she can
can she
define
define
the
the
divine
divine feminine more
and
and
tell
tell
us
us
how
how
we
we
can
can
connect
connect
to
to
it?
it better?
Okay. She said the divine feminine is within all forces of Mother Earth that are growth, that anything that requires sunlight and water and love. The divine feminine is in people, the divine feminine is in plants, the divine feminine is in the sun, the divine feminine is in you. Anything that requires these energies through the photosynthesis of the light, whether it be the light that a plant requires or the light that your soul requires. The divine feminine is all. It doesn't have one specific definition, but the best way for you is to connect via your natural surroundings, which I do realize is highly inconvenient. Well, she's got a sense of humor. Do you live in a city?
I was just thinking to myself, I need to go and be
On
on the ground more, and every time I walk
from my
apartment to my
garage,
I don't even touch the earth.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Do you have any further questions?
No, I think that was it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So cute. She was cracking some jokes through me too when I've been channeling her these past couple of weeks. The same thing. But she does it in a way where she's speaking so calmly and so profoundly and with so much power and wisdom that when she tells me a joke, I'm like, oh, was that funny? Oh, it is kind of funny. Right? Okay. It says Collie's waiting to be put on air, but I don't know. Yeah, the connection's a little bouncy. Hi, how are ya?
Jim Fancy just said, I can see your connections patch and they're bouncing a bit.
Yeah, he's just trying to alert you that you might be having some connection issues. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Your communication has been raising, and I had some questions for you and Mary.
Go ahead.
The first one would be, what or who is a Zachariah Kaplan?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Who is Zachariah Kaplan?
Who is Zachariah?
Kaplan?
Okay. She said, I want to touch his heart and I want to touch his soul. He is a being that is operating in more darkness than of light. Not to say or not to mean that that would be negative or bad or evil, but there cannot be one without the other in the first stages of his enlightenment, and he's chosen to only operate in one. I wish to invoke the I am within him at his conscious choosing. He's not consciously choosing. She says he's lost.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Yeah. I was having a really... You guys are having some connection issues with that one too? Okay. Oh, she was just answering Collie's question about someone, a specific person. So, there you go. Aprahita, live question. What is purpose? You're going to have to be more specific. What is your purpose? Is that what you're asking? Or what is purpose? Mary says you're asking what is your purpose. Because she's going to answer that for you. She said, I feel you being in the presence of the I am, and you feel me in the presence of the I am. You feel me within you, I feel you within me. However, you have one foot in the darkness and one foot in the light. You're choosing the light and ignoring the darkness. The first step in your evolution is not actually to ignore the darkness any further, but to allow it to reflect into the light of your vision. See, feel, then release. You saw, you felt, and then you reacted. You did not release. Your step 3 was reaction versus release. You can operate in full light as you choose once you release and not react. You're almost there. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I'm reading the chat, Jewel. I don't know who Zachariah is. She gave a last name, so I'm assuming that's someone personal to her. But I don't feel like she heard the answer to my question, and I don't feel like I fully heard her answer. I assume Mary did. I'm definitely kind of feeling like there was a disconnect there with us misunderstanding each other. So I hope Mary could step in and intervene with that, because I certainly was not fully understanding. Let's go back to a pre-channel question, and then I'll go back to some live questions. These are some short ones from Mary R. And she said, was the group known as the Essenes responsible for raising and preparing the Virgin Mary and Jesus for their roles? Mary answered yes. And she said, for yourself? And Mary answered yes. She said, were you all members of this group? Mary answered yes. She asked, what are the original... Oh, I misread that. She said, are the original writings missing from the Bible in the hands of the Vatican? She said yes. Busted. Here's another important one. I really love this person, and she's dear to my heart, so I'm going to answer her question. Her name is Sagi. She said, dear Mary Magdalene, as women, we have been socially conditioned through the years to see ourselves and each other as sexually perverse. Women judge each other harshly, belittle and repress each other. There are many programs and teachings out there that seem to address this, and yet the practice of such work is still rare. What can we do within ourselves to heal our own sense of self-worth as sexual and powerful feminine and masculine beings, so that we might shine this outward into our relationship with ourselves and other women? Okay, so Mary had me automatically write something for you. We did some automatic writing with this question. And here's what she wrote back to you. She said, dear Sagi, you are sanctified and beautiful always. You are to shine from within to the external world. Could your soul consider releasing responsibility of the outward relationships between yourself and the world, and between your inner and outer self? You are here to shine that beauty always, but not to have a need to fix or heal anything, as the world's opposing needs of repression is their own doing. They should do this until they are done doing it, until they can do it no more. And this will occur as it does, no matter what. Please trust that all is as it should be for your time. Your time is a difficult time of learning, but your society is thinking retrospective and not introspective. You are a rare soul to know the truths of this and of your own soul regardless. Release the need to fix or heal yourself or them, and consider the beauty of what is within you and thereby created outside of you. I loved her answer. Okay. Alexandru. Was the spear of destiny real? Where is it? She said, it's beautiful lore. It's a beautiful story. That is all. It's not in existence. Okay. Thank you. All right. Let's go to another pre-channel question. This is from Melissa. And she had asked me prior to this podcast to ask Mary this following question. As awakened souls, what is the best thing we can do to assist others? And Mary responded back to that with this. Stand as an example in your own truth, using the discernment from source within you. Shine the light of the truth validated by source within you. Light should not be kept within, but shine from within you to the external world around you. Be the world's candle. I'm going to answer this real quickly because it's short. It's also a pre-channel question from Daniel. And he asked, is the Holy Grail a bloodline? And Mary answered, yes. Yeshua, myself, Enoch, and many others are within it. Okay, let's go back to a live question. My chat keeps pausing. I don't know why. I guess every time I minimize the screen, I can't see what you guys are talking about. Okay, Kimberly. Beloved Mary Magdalene, what are my connections with you? I've been a subdominant guide off and on through different tumultuous periods of your growth, life, and existence here in this time and in your time. You have been my guide in my time. We've shared this responsibility, not one so more than the other. I think we've already answered these other questions about was she a part of the Holy Essenes. She definitely said that she was. She and Isis, from what she told me, and when I asked that question to her personally, she said that they were the same, that many beings like this was the same. Denise asks Mary, was there ever a book of Mary? She said there is a Gospel of Mary, and it is within the, she said it was written before the Nag Hammadi. Written before? Okay. Gospel of Mary is not in those 13 lost and then found scriptures. It was written prior to it. Yes, there's Gospel of Mary. I'm just speeding up just a little bit so that we can make sure we get all the pre-channel and channel questions in, because we're at 1 hour and 41, and I'm going to try not to go over 2 hours this time because it was, I got a little tired last time, and I want to make sure that I articulate her answers correctly back to you. When I'm physically tired, it gets a little tough. So I'm running almost on empty. Alexandru asks, is Jesus currently incarnated on earth? Okay. What about Saint Germain? She said, Saint Germain, no. Yeshua, yes. Yeshua is a child in India. And Saint Germain, no, not currently incarnated. Definitely a guide for many, she said. Okay. Where did the time go? Alfred said in chat, absolutely, I feel the same way. I looked up and we're almost at 2 hours, and I'm like, ooh, I gotta hurry up. She's like, no, don't rush, child. Right? Okay. Hannah asked, and this is a pre-channel question, when should I expect to have my next baby? She automatically channeled this via writing to me just today, actually, so I'll respond to you what I have written. That she said, Hannah, I'm sorry. Mary corrected me, I misinterpreted your name. The consideration of this will produce fear within. Children arrive into our worlds in the exact way, manner, and time that they wish to do so, but rarely when we wish for them to do so. The moment you release the notion, she will arrive. Oh, she said she. Time is not real in your dimension and therefore cannot be predicted. Okay. I wanted to read this real quick from a pre-channel question because it's very important, and Mary wanted to make sure that I shared this one. This is a pre-channel question and answer. This is from Morella, and she said, how can we heal the mother wound in our families, with ourselves and our daughters? And Mary said, do not associate love with any retrospective requirements of addressing pain. Love is associated with light, not dark. Self-love is the answer. Self-nourishing will allow for this if you do so regularly in practice right now. Allow the love from the light of source within you to heal your heart, and consider that the now is more relevant than anyone who did anything to you in your perceived past. When you consider the past as something that does not exist to harm you any further, You release all attachments to suffering. The mother wound is a learned suffering. Unlearn, I love you. Okay, let's go back to a live question. Okay. Mary, can you elaborate? Did I hear correctly? The gospel was written by a woman. She said, you hear truth? Of course. The gospel of Mary was written by a woman. Let's clarify that. Not the gospel of the Bible. Gabriella, let's do another live question. She said, did you physically ascend when you allowed the 7 aspects within yourself? She said, yes, to a certain degree of ascension. One cannot physically ascend completely out of their bodies, but I ascended out of what you know as the 3rd dimensional existence, and I was operating in a different existence at that point in time, at least from Source Within and from my energy body, my light body. So yes, to a certain degree, not fully. Okay, Jennifer asks, Jehovah's Witnesses teach that in the new earth we will live in these bodies for the rest of eternity. She said, no, I'm sorry to differ, but I'm not sorry to differ. I think some of these times when she jokes, I'm like, I think that's a joke. Let's see what else she says. It is a misunderstanding, and it is a clear misunderstanding that your bodies, if you choose to be in one, when your light body leaves your physical body, yes, you ascend, but you can also choose to perfect that body and live in its form on a different dimension. You can also choose to leave it in any given point in time and then go back to it. You can choose whatever form. It's not just one way. Yeah. Liz, this is a pre-trial question, and she asked, was Mary Magdalene a mystic, and did she have a physical relationship with Jesus? Mary said yes and yes. Sean asks, this is another pre-channel question, please tell us of your life with Yeshua, in particular the events after his crucifixion. Did you go to what is now the Languedoc region of southern France? She responded last night on this one, and I'm just going to read you what she said to me. She said, he traveled to what you know as Tibet after his crucifixion. He did not die. He returned to life and traveled to share his teachings. I retreated into my own inner self in these times for 7 years for my own enlightenment and study. Yes, I then traveled to the region of southern France. Then there were many tumultuous times. We did inevitably marry, have children, and have a wonderful but unusual life together. Sean also asks, did Peter or Paul or any of the other apostles have discord with you? Her answer is yes, mainly Peter. Okay, pre-channeled again. Lisa Jo asks, do you have a message for me regarding my work? Helping others with guided message from the archangels. I didn't get an answer from that, so I'm going to ask again, because I didn't get an answer from it when I pre-channeled it. I didn't write anything down. I'm looking, going, where's the answer? So we're going to ask her now, live. Why must it be work? Why must it be difficult? When you receive your gifts fully, to the extent that you utilize them fully, from Source Within, you will be fully supported Release the attachment to the need for survival within, and you will be fully supported. I see your fear of survival utilizing your gifts in this modern day time, in your time. When you release the fear of what will happen if it doesn't work, your gifts will flow in even further and even more fluently, and you will be supported even further. Thank you. All right, let's go back to a live question from one of you in chat. Okay. Yeah, we're not taking any more camel requests according to the moderator because it's just getting a little late. Tiffany asks, is a love relationship that is continually challenging for many years best to walk away from? She says, you are suffering. Is your suffering continually necessary for your enlightenment? Only you know what step you choose for your enlightenment. If you're in this stage where suffering is still important, you choose to stay within this suffering, and the love that you experience can be greater than the suffering. You can shine the light upon that person, the love from divinity within you onto that person. If you're in that stage and you choose suffering, then it's important to stay within it. But I must share with you, it is not necessary. Which is greater, your suffering or your love? If the suffering is greater, you know the answer. Thank you. Wish I had her endurance. Yeah, I want your endurance. You just stand there all beautiful and shiny and full of energy 2 hours later and you're still answering questions. And I'm like, tired, it's 9 p.m. Okay, this is from Sally. And she says, I've always worked with Mother Mary, but now you are coming around more. What is our connection? She said, I am a subdominant guide. You wish to know how to feel in the way that I can teach and show you. You wish this for this learning. You wish to understand the divine. You wish to understand all aspects of the divine. I am the feminine. And that is my connection to help you understand the divine feminine within you. And that is all you called me. Thank you. Okay, let's go back to a pre-channel question. Sandia asks, what is the best way we can help the new wave of all the new generations of indigo, crystal, and rainbow children heal Mother Earth, and how can they get in touch with their gifts? And when Mary channeled this answer to me, this is what she said yesterday. She said self-love for all children of Earth is needed for healing themselves and others. Self-love is the answer to both of your questions. The more you show them this with your loving example, the more the stream of source will trickle into their hearts and allow compassion. Compassion will heal Earth. Mary Shannon asks, this is also a pre-channel question, how many children did you have with Yeshua? Were you the only mother to his children? Were you put to death? What will happen to these children if so? She didn't answer some of that, just so you know. She said we had 7 children total. 2 were lost in pregnancy. Yes, I was the only mother to Yeshua's children. She did not want to answer that about being put to death, but she did say, please don't operate within fear. The manner of death that we all choose, and yes, I did choose my death, as did Yeshua, can be peaceful or not, but it's not of relevance. She didn't answer about what happened to the children, except to say that some reincarnated into other beings that are alive on Earth today. Some. She mentioned 2. Yeah. One of whom we already called out in the screencast. Her name is Sarah. Okay. Cody asks, I love Cody, so I've definitely got to answer this pre-channel question. My question is about my mother. Will my mother ever decide to find her happiness? This is what Mary said in her pre-channel session with me yesterday. She said, should you choose this path is a question to which, should she choose this path is a question to which only she knows the answer. Thus far, she has not chosen it. Accept the truth of this answer, which you do already know, in your soul, even if it brings you sadness initially. Keep the light of hope from the candle of source within you burning. Okay. Let's go back to Marissa's question. This is a live question. And she asks, I've been told that I have a great purpose, that I have a great purpose on earth. Can you tell me what it is? Okay. I'm giggling because Mary's giggling a little bit. She said, you must choose from 5 purposes. And you know them, you know 2 of them. You know 2 of them are involving spreading of light and love to all beings without judgment. That is one that you know. You can't have judgment, you don't have judgment. And you've released it a long time ago. You have completed that purpose. You have another of balance. You're not thrilled with this purpose. My apologies. You have many purposes. Choose one, follow it. You've completed 2. You still have 3. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to go back to the pre-channel question. This is from Kristen Renee, and she asks, it would mean the world to me to know if my grandmothers know how apologetic I am for having been such a troublemaker as a child. I love and miss them, and I'd like to know how they're doing. And when Mary Channel listened to me, she said this. This has been of their awareness for quite a while. I see that the greater importance here is that you are in pain in your heart. You carry a significant amount of shame and guilt that is even related to your childhood. Please release the shackles of shame as they cause for a continued stagnation of your soul's evolution. Your relatives have evolved from this and forgive all, but in relation to you there is nothing to forgive. This is merely your perception. They now realize that you reacted to your environment of your world around you, as children often do. But they do wish for your evolution from the shackles of shame and guilt. Release them. You will find your purpose by releasing yourself of fear and of suffering. If I shared with you my perception of your purpose, it would no longer be your purpose, for you would not believe me. The perception of mine is merely being shared with you. However, what if I shared with you that the only purpose is just to be? Anything else would come after. It would happen. It would happen within the flow of source within you. With or without your awareness. Just be. Okay. Another live question from Joshua. And he asks, Mother Mary, have you... We're not talking to Mother Mary. I don't have her here today. I'm sorry. I have Mary Magdalene. Yeah. And I will ask her for you. Mary Magdalene, make it clear, she said, my child, all beings We're all children, brothers, sisters, equal beings of light. Please don't pray to me. Please don't pray to me. Please don't worship me and don't pray to me. Send your prayers through Source within you. And that's all. Thank you. Let's go back to another pre-channel question. Yeah, I'm getting through all the questions I can. I see you guys in chat, and I know I'm a slow talker, so I'm really trying to speed it up. Thank you for your patience. Marianka asked this question. It's a pre-channel question, and she said, Mary Magdalene, could you please tell me how to feel connected to the world and feel peaceful again? Will my depersonalization ever pass? Will it ever get better? And when we pre-channeled this answer, this is what Mary said yesterday. She said, do not connect to the world. Connect to Source within you fully and seek the illumination of Source within you first. Then and only then can you feel love and peace for the world outside of you. The world outside of you is only a creation and reflection of what is within you at first. Depersonalization, as you have called it, is a form of separation from all that is perceived reality. Once your external reality changes due to it reflecting the peace within you, you will no longer need to hide from the world with depersonalization, which has become your defense mechanism. Kindly consider coming to the awareness that you control everything from which you run. Then there will be no need to run. There is nothing to defend if there is no fear. Face everything fully within you, and you will not run or defend yourself from everything in the reflection of your world externally. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to a live question from you guys. Kali. I love you, Kali. Just like my little sister. I love her so much. I just wanted to give a nice little quick shout out to her. How can we integrate our higher and lower selves? Let's ask that. There is no separation from your higher and lower self. It is perceived. With your choice to incarnate on earth, you then perceive separation that isn't. You do this for your own expansion. Once you realize there is no separation, unity occurs. The awakening, the spiritual awakening of the realization of this truth causes for this integration or this perceived integration. You're already whole. Thank you. Okay, let's go to a pre-channel question. This is from Kent. And he asks, I would like to know her thoughts about me in terms of a regular paying job because I'm currently unemployed and looking for work. I thought this might apply to a lot of you who are in that position, so this is why I answered that question, okay? This is what she said when I pre-channeled it. She said, I love your heart. I am always within you. Even when you deny Source within you, trust that there is more than one path. For if one tree is not producing fruit, do you continue to wait on that tree to blossom and ripen with fruit? Plant another tree if nothing is producing. Let's see. We have another one from Marissa. This is a live question. And she said, what was the purpose for my childhood abuse? Did I choose this in order to align into and fulfill my life purpose? Initially, in your perceived perceptions of duality and of separation, yes, this purpose is painful. Yes, it often involves being incarnated into a world with hurtful situations of this nature, especially from parents and direct family members. This is quite common. It is a part of your purpose initially. It is not a part of your purpose to hold that suffering within you for a long time. Release the suffering of it. You're done. You are done with it. Believe that you are done, and then the second step of your expansion comes into persistence as you no longer resist your fears of the future. You resist this because you know nothing more than this. Go into the knowingness of the now. There is no future, there is no past, there is now. Okay, Carissa asked a live question and she said, "Dearest Mary, do we have connections?" We'll channel that question from her now. Seven time periods, 7 lives, 7 existences. For 7 whole days during a specific illness, I was there. From that point forward, I've been there. I haven't left your side. For you are one of mine. You are my child. That is your connection to me. That is my responsibility. From here forward, and from all 7 existences we've shared together. Well, Carissa, there you go. I'm a little jealous of you right now. I don't believe that I share any of that with Mary. I'm kidding. Totally joking. Let's go back to pre-channel question. I don't have very many more, just 2, so we're going to just go straight to them. Well, I have 3, but they're short. Debbie asks, I would love to know if she has any messages or guidance for me. And her answer when I channel this today is, it is the time in your life when focusing on you significantly more is of greater importance. This is not selfish. This is needed. Self-love is the most important emotion and spiritual value, spiritual effect. It's the importance of self-love. This is your time. Piper asked, I've been told that I'm a healer and a keeper of women's wisdom. Any messages on what conditions I am meant to heal? I pre-channeled this morning, and I'll read to you what she said. She said, all conditions related to or transpiring from loss of the divine feminine within each woman, and wounds associated with lack of connection to one's mother, which also implies lack of connection to source. This is your purpose. Someone asked, and I thought that I would answer this just for comical value, because it was really amusing to me. Someone asked me to ask Mary, what is your favorite current music in our time? And she said, it is most certainly Bjork and Enya. I certainly wish I could combine the 2 of them into one style. I just loved that, so I had to answer it. I thought you guys would find it really cute. You called Enya, Cody? Yeah, I could see that. I was a little shocked about Bjork, though. That's really interesting. Yeah. So, did we get all of our questions in, Jim? I'm asking my moderator if there's anything left to go. Because I don't have any more pre-channel questions. And if not, we'll just 40 more. Okay, let's do 10. Let's do 10. Okay, from Tiffany. I keep experiencing health issues, even though I have been doing everything that I think I should be doing to become higher, healthier. And yet I'm still challenged with it. Can I ask for healing? I do believe I have seen you many times in dreams. She said, give permission. Have your inner child give permission. Have your consciousness give permission to Source to heal. This is something that's been lacking. You've asked, but you've not received because you consciously have not given the permission. If you say those words, you invoke the I am within. Give permission for Source to heal you, and yes, it absolutely can occur within and in your body. Okay, next one. I got a little lag on the questions, and my moderator is responsible for my questions. I'm not the one who's choosing them, so I'm just waiting on. There we go. Dear Mary, this is from Jennifer. Is there anything we need to understand regarding other dimensions? She said, you do already understand. You specifically do already understand, but for the collective humanity, yes, you do need to understand that they exist, that you exist within 2 specific dimensions, and that you can have the capability of existing within another. There you go. So, this is for Beck, which was deleted by Sparta. The moderator's cat deleted Beck's question. I have recently started channeling a group of beings called the One. She's nodding. She went, I was just repeating. She said, let's see. Beck is saying, I recently discovered that there was another girl who was channeling a group called the One, but she died recently. Her death occurred around the same time I became conscious. Mary said, there's your rebirth. You should understand this, my child. Thank you. Next. No, it's the only, you're saying that's only half of it? I'm sorry. You should type the rest of it, because I only see that half. Yeah, that's the only thing that it showed us. Jennifer says, I know nothing about my biological father. Can Mary please tell me what is his nationality or cultural heritage? Okay. She says he's from the same region of France and from the time of beauty and revolution, of alchemy, and of eventual anarchy even. He is from southern France. And this place is close to my soul. Yeah. France, there you go, Jennifer. That probably shocked you, actually. I'm waiting on another question. But to answer your question back, I'm seeing it in chat now. To get the second half of your question, is you wanted to know if you and the girl who died are channeling or did channel the same group. You absolutely are channeling the same group. That was the impression I was getting, and Mary is nodding yes. Absolutely. And it is a group of beings. It's not just one being, but they call themselves that because they're all synonymous. Babs says, Pamela, please ask Mary if I'm following the path to healing others as I'm meant to. She said, can we focus on giving acceptance for healing of your physical body? You're almost there. You're on the precipice of physical healing, is what Mary's saying. Can we focus on this now, this week? And yes, I commend you for the beauty of the peace that you spread to others in their transitions throughout their suffering, to release them thereof, but you took it amongst yourself. Don't take that into your body. Thank you. I'm done with that question. I'll take another. Peter. Oh, is a Peter question. It's going to make me think. What did you learn in your physical presence of Yeshua that we can apply in this present, this now, in and through our physical reality? I learned that I'm not separated, that is a perception that I utilize in the now, I utilize in the moment. I learned about the lack of existence of time. I was completely aware and learned all of my teachings through him and many others. I learned how I could change the presence of time as it did not exist. It could become as I needed it to become. Thank you. Okay, guys. I am going to read since it's already 2:16, and I actually did not eat dinner because I had a quick little bite right before the program, but I fasted other than that, so I'm getting a little hungry. So I'm going to read our final statement. I'm going to close out the questions for the evening and just read the final statement from Mary, and then, wish you guys goodbye and blessings and love. Thank you for being here. You can find me at aurareader.com. You can find me at facebook.com/groups/aurareader. We learn a lot and we ask a lot of, spiritual questions that I answer and many others answer on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And these questions are free during these times. Otherwise, if you need a private session or a channeling, any sort of healing processes, anything of that nature, you can find me at aurareader.com. The schedule there. Otherwise, I'd love to have you in my group if you're not already there. I recognize some of you as already there, but for those of you who aren't here and will watch later, I really hope that you join, because we are going through an immense stage of spiritual evolution together as a large spiritual family, and we learn daily, and we're all equal, and there's no higher than or better than or stronger than or more gifted than. I'm just a part of a big spiritual family just like you. And we can all do this. What I do today, this gift that I have, yes, I've had it since childhood, but we can teach any of you to do it. Anyone can channel the divine. And anyone can channel ascended beings as well. So just letting you know, we're all growing. Here's the final statement that I'm going to give to Mary that we're going to channel today. Okay. The light within me illuminates the light within you. Remember your divinity. It is your entire purpose. After that, just be. Humans have always believed since the dawn of time that there's something to do. Just be, and then all necessary action will follow within the flow of all there is. I love you. Thank you guys for being here. I love you all. Again, you can find me at aurareader.com or in my Facebook group. I'll link that up for you later. I love you. Have a wonderful evening. And I'm going to end this now and finally go get some real food and some rest. I love you. Namaste.